Hey, beer leaguers. I don't know why I decided to do it, but just wanted to do a little run through the beer league, and we're not doing it every week like we did last year. I think it was a little overkill, right? But we'll have a group one coming up in a couple of weeks, a little less than 2 weeks. I guess we're gonna tentatively we're saying the first Monday night of each month we'll do a group chat, open house forum. But anyways, I just wanted to go through some stuff that I guess I'm itching to do. And the good news is that I don't have the pro account that Jeff has, so this could only be like 35 minutes long. So if I even get to that long. But anyways, I just wanted to share a few things, so maybe I'll just go right into it. Uh, where should we start? Okay, I've got a list of the top players from Yahoo, just according to their points for the year. And this is through yesterday. Today's May 19th. So yesterday, May 18th, the Monday. James Wood is our top hitter, point getter. And we can see that the top pitching slots, there's five pitchers that have more points than him. This is a slight fear of mine, right? That I worried that maybe I was overextending a little bit on the pitching points. But if this year, if this year behaves like last year and the years before, we see that the pitching performances tend to come back whereas the hitting ones don't necessarily come back to earth as much. So we'll see what happens. I know right now in the beer league standings, hitting points are 56% of the total, and pitching points are about 44%. And what I tried to do last offseason was to get that number, close to 43% pitching, 57% hitting. And I thought that if the range was between 43 and 44% pitching, I'd be comfortable with that because our pitching slots, we have 11 pitching slots and our starting rosters out of 25, and that's 44%. And the 43% came along because I looked at WAR, and WAR they attribute 43% of it to pitching and 57% to position players. So that's where I came up with if it's in that 43 to 44% range, I'll be comfortable. So hopefully by the end of the year, it'll be there. According to the standings that I have, where I try to estimate the points for the rest of the year, we'll be under that 43% pitching. The reason that there's a higher percentage early in the year is that a lot of us go over on our innings in the beginning of the year, and then we have to deal with that down the stretch. But anyway, so I think it'll work out okay, but we'll see. The best case scenario is there will be no changes for next year beyond a little, IP max fiddling, but be nice to have a, stable point system. So hopefully that'll be the case. But anyways, we can see James Wood, wait till next year, is our top hitter, followed by Aaron Judge, Kyle Schwarber, Drake Baldwin, and Yordan Alvarez for paging. So, Satch has got three of the top five hitters. If you go down to Matt Olson for Bizzotti, Ellie De La Cruz for Jake McBride, CJ Abrams for the Gags. So that's not going to work. That's kind of crazy. Jordan Walker rebounding for Let's Play. Just when you kind of give up on Jordan Walker, they're like, yeah, I guess the guy just doesn't have it. He's doing pretty well. Ben Rice is this is amazing for Rudy Can't Fail, and he qualifies a catcher, and I think that he's going to qualify there next year. So that would be a huge boon. Nick Kurtz for Satch, O'Neill Cruz for Bizzotti. Here's another one that had all the talent in the world, and we weren't sure if he was going to come around, but he has. Jose Ramirez for Satch, still respectable, not maybe quite top five or six like he might have been before, but he still was that top 12 anyway. And here's a newbie, Munetaka Murakami, that Bizzotti got in the auction. And if my memory serves, I think it was down to me and Bizzotti on Murakami. So I was in, but not taking credit because I wasn't in as much as Bizzarri was, and I don't know how high Paul would have gone on him, but I think I dropped out around 32. It might have been the number I had on my list, and he got him. And also, Bizzarri has Paul has Bryce Terang. And that's another player I never really thought much of, and he's doing pretty well. Here's Miguel Vargas for Sombreros, a White Sox. So it's nice that the White Sox have what a couple guys in the top less than 20 with Murakami and Miguel Vargas. Yeah, Vargas is a good kind. He just does everything the right way. He's not, he's never going to be a superstar, I guess, but what he has, he gets the most out of. Just a good player, good approach, all the stuff that you like to see. Cody Bellinger for Rudy Can't Fail, and here's a blast from the past. Mike Trout for Gambler Spear, along with Bryce Harper for Satch. I don't know how far down I'll go. Maybe I'll just go down to the first catcher. Uh, Sal Stewart. Well, we already had Ben Rice, but I'll go down to because it's my guy, right? Langoliers, but Sal Stewart for the Knockers. Andy Pajes for Let's Play, Corbin Carroll for Sombreros, and then Langoliers is still doing well for the Gags. Let's see if I can scroll down here a little bit. Bobby Witt for the Dads. Oh, I just got a few more. And Randy Rosarena for Pizzotti and Ivan Herrera for Satch. I tried to trade for Herrera at least a couple of times in the offseason, but Phil wasn't having it. So, anyways, and then with the pitching, Christopher Sanchez, our top pitcher for Satch. Rudy can't fail's got Cam Schlitter, Davis Martin, a sock for Bizzotti. That's nice to see. Chris Sale for Rudy can't fail. A couple of gags, Bryce Elder and Jose Soriano. I think if I do this again, I don't think this name will be will be on this top list, but we'll see. I can't. I just don't know how he's doing it. It just doesn't. It's just incredible. But it won't last. There, 99.9% sure of that. Soriano, Chase Burns, and Nick Martinez for Platinum Sombreros. That Nick Martinez, I don't know if you got him in the auction, but that was a nice one. Uh, he's done well, and you keep waiting for the other shoe to drop. But he's on the Rays, and that kind of gives you a little more confidence that it might continue close to this level because they know what they're doing. Michael Waka for the Gags. I actually didn't know he was doing as well as he's doing. Michael King for the Dads, and then we've got the relievers here: Mason Miller for the Dads, Riley O'Brien for wait till next year. For the longest time, O'Brien had more points than Mason Miller. It's kind of reassuring to see that he's actually 6 points behind Mason Miller now. That feels more right. Kate Smith for the Gags, and then Eric Sobrowski, who I think is Kate Smith's teammate, right on the Guardians for Satch. So he's doing well. All right, what should I look at now? Could look at the standings. We look at I've got the standings combined with like hitting points. So I didn't do all those rate stats. It just gets so confusing. This really just boils it down to what's really important to us. Obviously, here's our wins and losses and the total points, but we break it out to hitting points, non-save hold pitching points, and then the save hold points. So we can see. So it's Satch. I've got the rankings down here. So Satch is second in hitting points. Bizzotti has the most. If you look at hitting points per games played, it's Bizzotti and Satch. They're 1 and 2. And then as far as hitting points, Sombreros have the fewest, and with a runner-up of Rudy Can't Fail. And then if you look at on a per game played per games played, it's switched. It's Rudy and Sombreros in the bottom two still. If we look at non-save hold pitching points, so Spears got the most, and Satch is runner-up. And then as far as on a per inning pitched basis, it's Rudy Can't Fail has the highest non-safe hold pitching points for innings pitched, and the runner-up is Wait Till Next Year. So that's kind of a carryover from last year. Wait seems like that's probably going to be a strength of theirs from year to year. It seems like they're going to be able to pick out the right guys to start. And then the trailers, we have Daddies have the fewest non-safe hold pitching points, and Holy Cows are runner-up fewest, and they're the bottom two in the standings. So that goes a long way. On a per inning pitched uh, basis, it's still the Daddies at the bottom, but Capital Knockers have the second fewest non-save hold pitching points for innings pitched. So you can see cows are last in innings, so a lot of their problem with pitching is just getting more innings. As far as the save hold points, Satch is number one, and cows are number two. And then who's trailing? Let's Play has the fewest, and Rudy Can't Fail has the second fewest. So, anyways, hopefully that was somewhat interesting. Um, let's see. I tried to do something with injuries. So this it's not perfect, but I used Yahoo's preseason rank and then compared it to the current rank. The current rank, I put a maximum of 390 on it because that's we have 30 players per team, 13 teams. Because I didn't want to like make that, this like Ryan Pepio for some reason is currently rated 2,300. I just wanted to make a max of 390. Anyway, so I did the difference between the current rank and the preseason rank, and I came up with a sum for each team. So the team that's most affected with this, method that might not be the greatest was Rudy Can't Fail, and then close behind was Platinum Sombreros. And I used standard deviation from the average. So these two teams are more than a standard deviation away from the average, according to this injury rank sum number. I don't even know what you want to call it. And then Capital Knockers has been the least affected, according to this method, by injuries. So you can see, anyways, who knows if it's a valid way to do it. That's just what I did today. And what else? I did look at some other things here. So maybe I'll stop this share and then I'll share something else. I'm going to go to Baseball Savant real quick and just to check in on the park factors. There's really no big surprises. I've got the park factors going back from the beginning of last year, so that Sutter Health is on here, and you can see it's Coors and Sutter Health are far and away the worst pitchers parks. It'd be interesting to see how Sutter does the rest of the year if the weather gets super hot there. I heard last year it wasn't such a hot summer, so maybe this year will be even worse. We'll see. I have Luis Severino, and I think Rudy Can't Fail might have Savali. So it's or Dads might have Jacob Lopez too. I think so. Anyways, just a good idea to keep an eye on those guys. Jeffrey Springs, I don't know who has him, um, but so you can see, and then the bottom parks, the ones that have the lowest park factor are usual suspects: Texas, Seattle, Petco, um, Cleveland. So you can see, and I guess St. Louis rounds out the bottom five. And the top five, the third is Camden Yards and Citizens Bank, Philly, and Comerica. That's strange. I know the Tigers moved the fences in a little bit there, so this could be a little bit. I would imagine that they're going to fall more toward the center as the season goes on. But this is back to last year, and that's when they did make the change there. So at the very least, Detroit's not as much of a pitcher's park as it used to be. But I doubt it's going to end up the fifth highest park factor. We'll see what it does by the end of the year. But anyways, let's see. Can I just switch over this? All right. So this is this is the expected stats according to StatCast. I guess I enjoy sharing this because I don't use this for my for my members. I wouldn't want to give up all my important special proprietary information, but it's good for me to look at this too to see if it's jiving with my numbers at all too. So I just look at their actual WOBA with their expected weighted on base, the expected WOBA, and you can see Mickey Moniak has the highest difference. Let's see if I've got enough. Brandon Lockridge is on here. Maybe I'll bump it up to, I don't know, let's see 100 and see if that helps weed out some of these guys. 100 plate appearances, or this is minimum balls in play. So it's not plate appearances, but that's what they need for their numbers. Strikeouts don't do them any good. Um, but yeah, so Moniak, supposedly, according to Statcast, is getting lucky. I don't stand by that. Ildemaro Vargas, um, Miguel Andujar, now with San Diego. Troy Johnston from Colorado. I don't know if that would mean if they would penalize Johnson because he's playing in Colorado. It'd be nice if I knew a little bit more when I was talking about this stuff. So maybe I'll make sure I verify that. But that would be sort of unfair, right? So I just want to know what he's done in the park that he's playing in compared to what he deserved to do in the park, in that same park. Now, I'm not trying to rate these guys as players across the league. You're just trying to see if the performance is something that you could expect to get better or get worse as the season goes on. So I guess I should know that for sure. Um, I know that the OPS plus numbers would adjust that, but I'm not sure if the expected WOBA does. So for next time, I'll try to get on top of that. Here's some other names on here: Randy Rosarena, Byron Buxton. These again are the lucky guys according to Statcast numbers. Spencer Horwitz for the Pirates, Rafaela Boston, Hunter Goodman for the Rockies, Ozzy Albies for the Braves. That's enough, right? We'll do top 10. I don't know if you want to do any more. Luis Arias, that's a gag. Jose Caballero, Chandler Simpson, Xavier Edwards, Otto Lopez, both Marlins, CJ Abrams, and Jacob Wilson for the A's. So maybe I'll switch it over to the unlucky guys that maybe you can expect more from. And no surprise, right? Fernando Tatis tops the list. Um, Bo Bichette for the Mets. Let's hope so. Mark Vientos. So supposedly these are guys you could expect better days from, and I think at least Tatis that makes and Bichette he's got to do better than he's done. Will Smith, that would be nice. I haven't been unhappy with what he's done this year, and maybe if he'll do a little bit better, that's even better. Ketel Marte, again, these are the unlucky guys so far. Cam Smith, Marcelo Zuna, Dylan Dingler, Trent Grisham, Freddie Freeman, Corey Seager, Michael Harris, Jordan Alvarez, Ezekiel Tovar, Luis Rengifo, Spencer Steer, and Merrill Jacks. So Tovar's on here, and he's a Rocky, so maybe that means that expected WOBA is not not penalizing them for the park they're playing in. But like I said, I'll find that out for sure before I talk about it again. If I do this again, see what kind of ratings I get. Hoping to get at least 3 views. Me and Phil and one other person. That's all I need. Um, and then we're going to switch to pitching. So pitching. Hello. All right. So pitchers, we can compare the ERA with the expected ERA. So let's see. Is this enough of a cutoff? That looks pretty good. That's a minimum. Oh, that's a minimum 100 balls in play. Yeah, it looks okay. So Michael McGreevy, he's on. Oh no, I don't think the Gags have him. Maybe that's Sombreros. I have him in a Roto League, so I get confused. But he's got a 2.1 ERA and expected 5.78. So probably probably not better days ahead for McGreevy. Tomoyuki Sugano, Nick Martinez, another that's a sombrero arm, right? I think we remember that from the last thing I did. Kyle Leahy, Patrick Corbin, who has faced the most batters since the 2018 season. Randy Vasquez, the Padres, Davis Martin, White Sox, Merrill Kelly, that's a gag. Uh, Eduardo Rodriguez, who's done really well. That's somebody that we probably all had in our team. I know the Gags have had him, but he's got a 2.53 ERA and expected 4.50. So we'll see what happens the rest of the year. Look at that, Merrill Kelly, 5.91 and expected 7.9. So it might be this might be the end of the line for Merrill Kelly, but he had a good out. He pitched a complete game at Coors last outing. I was gonna play him in I have him in my Roto League too. And I was sitting him down and I said, oh, let me check out his career ERA at Coors. And his career ERA at Coors before that start was like 4.1 something. His overall career is like 3.86 or something. So I was like, I'm going to start him, because I hate when I don't start guys and then shoot that they did all right. I did sit down in that Roto League. I had Tyler Malley, and I did sit him down because he was pitching at in Sacramento, and he did have like 5 or 6 earned runs and 5 or 6 innings, so that was an okay decision there. Anyways, Anthony Kay for the White Sox, who has a 4.6 and deserves a 6.36. I know that the dads picked him up, and I think he's done well. He's had, a couple or three good starts in a row. Aaron Savali, who I believe Rudy has picked him up because he was on the Gags briefly too, and he's done well. 2.70 ERA, pretty damn nice. 4.38 expected, and honestly, if he trailed up toward that 4.3, that wouldn't be the worst thing in the beer league. At least, how deep we go with starting pitching. Because we have 11 pitchers on 13 teams, and the Roto League I'm in has 9 pitchers on 11 teams. So we go a lot deeper in the beer league. I think they usually they have 12 in that league, but somebody dropped out. So, anyways, so we're pretty deep on starting pitching. So if Aaron Savali has an ERA of 4 the rest of the year, he's going to be on the team. He deserves to be on the team, especially if he has a 2.7. So again, these are guys that maybe are have been fortunate so far. Zach Littell, Jose Soriano, I can vouch for that. He has a 2.41 and his expected is 4.01. So if Jose Soriano has an ERA in the upper threes, I'll be happy enough with that. Sonny Gray and Connolly Early for the Red Sox, and then Shohei. So Shohei's got a .82, deserves a 2.32. Well, even a 2.32 could win you a sigh. So he's doing just fine. All right, and then we'll look at the other side. The pitchers that are unlucky according to Statcast. Chris Paddock, 7.07 deserves a 4.24. If Paddock has a 4.24 ERA, you'd be happy with that because I don't think anybody thinks too much of him now. Trevor Rogers, again, these are guys with maybe better days ahead. Lance McCullers, Jacob Lopez. So he has a 5.8 ERA and he deserves a 3.58. So, maybe that's the kind of guy you just don't start him at home, because his numbers look okay. Jesus Luzardo, Kyle Freeland. Yeah, Luzardo's strange. Like, he's pitching well, right? He's got a 3.17 expected, but his ERA is over 5. Kyle Freeland, who's scary because he pitches in Colorado, 7.22 actual and a 5.42 expected. Mike Burrows for the Astros. I'll just read off the names because you get the gist of what it is. Miles Michaelis, Brandon Fott, Tyler Malley, Simeon Woods Richardson, Andrew Painter, David Peterson, Aaron Nola, Michael Lorenzen, and Reed Detmers. And then the last guy just over the line here is Brandon Sproat, who's on the Brewers now. Came from the Mets. All right. So That's enough of that. I don't even know how much time I have left. Probably not much, but I don't have much. Oh, I don't have much left to say. Let's look at what was this? Oh yeah, I let me share this too. I just thought of something and I just wanted to print it out or whatever. So this is. I was just wondering how beer league, well, how starting pitching has changed since we started the beer league in '91. So you can see that the average starter went over a little over 6 innings per start, 15 beer league points. This is according to the beer league point system as it's currently constructed. So six for a win, six for a quality start. And you can see it was pretty stable. The six, or 6 innings, give or take, or a little over, a little under, until around 2014. So even in 2014, it was still 6 points, 6 innings per start. And then it started to drop. So you can see from 2014 to 15, it dropped to 5.8, then 5.6, 5.5, 5.4, 5.2, and then 4.8 in 2020, which you would expect because that was the COVID year. Um, and then it did rebound a little bit in 2021. In 2022, it went up to 5.2 innings per start. And it's been roughly there. This year it's down to 5.1, but it's been in that range, that 5.1 to 5.2 range. And then as far as the points with the current system per game started, this is not, yeah, per game started was 16 in 2014. Of course, you're throwing almost an inning more then, so that would be an extra couple of points per start. But we're down to about 12 points per start on average now. We bottomed out, and it looks like a 2020 and 2011, it was about 11 points per start. But that's where we're at now. We're at like five, a little over 5 innings per start. And that includes all the openers and stuff. So that can distort it a little bit too. So it'd be good if could figure out how to throw out all the opener starts without having to do it manually. You don't want to look at there's 4,860 games started for baseball season. I don't want to go there and go like, that he's just an opener. So I don't know. You could throw out the 1 inning starts, but maybe you'd be throwing out guys that got rocked too. I suppose you could figure it out, right? You could see if he only went an inning and he didn't allow 6 runs, then he's probably just an opener. But anyways, I don't know if that was too interesting. Well, I guess that's really it. I don't know. Hopefully, hopefully this wasn't a complete waste of time. I'm at work right now. I forwarded the phone calls so I wouldn't get interrupted. I'm in beautiful Wallingford, Connecticut right now. And well, all right, that's it. So in a couple of weeks, the first Monday in June, I don't know what the exact day is, but we'll have another open house and hopefully more people can come on with us. And when I do stuff like this, then I won't feel the need to hog the conversation. I'll just sit back and drink my wine and just listen to what other folks have to say. So, all right. Well, I hope that this was not too disastrous. And as soon as I can figure out how to stop recording, I'll I'll go. All right. Peace.